Hello and welcome once again to my cricket channel, the SNS Cricket Diaries. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a long time since I have recorded a video for my cricket fans here, but it's been a bit of a hectic ride. So I hope you can pardon me for this. But I'm here once again with a very dear friend of mine, with whom I did one conversation quite some time back now. I have with me Ashhar Qureshi. Hi, Ashhar. How are you?
Hi, sir. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you.
It's
I'm
fantastic
very
to
well.
see you,
Thank you.
Ashar. Ashar Qureshi is a wonderful friend, and he is working in the Merchant Navy. I think when we first did the conversation quite some time back, Ashar did tell us a little bit about his work. So you can please go and watch that video where we discussed his cricketing memories and going to the Eden Gardens, where in fact currently India and South Africa are also playing, and we discussed a lot of other things about cricket. So it's wonderful to have you back, Ashar. Firstly, tell me how's life treating you, and how's everything going?
I'm good, sir. Life's been treating me very fairly well. Work, and it's always really nice to be back home with people that you care and want to be around. That's life very lately, as of late, is what I'm
Hmm.
saying. And there's no other feeling, once you come back home from sailing, to just be home. And I think once you're home, everything else is an added bonus. So I'm the happiest when I'm back home
Fantastic.
from
And
work.
and when are you coming to Delhi so that we can catch up?
I'll be there on the 28th. I'll
Hmm.
be there on the 28th. So one of those days, I'll be attending a friend's wedding in
Okay.
Delhi. So I shall be seeing you
Hmm.
as well, sir.
Yes.
That goes without saying.
Absolutely. The winters are setting in here. It's a lovely
Yeah,
time, lovely weather to be. Of course, yes, the pollution levels are high, but hopefully, by the end of November and early December, things will become a lot better, and we can have, the typical Delhi momos and a lot of other things that Delhi and Gurgaon have to offer. So, I think Ashar, we can get started with our conversation on cricket, because it is a cricket channel, guys, and I hope you're following the India South Africa Test series, which just started yesterday. Just to let you all know, South Africa were dismissed today for. India was actually dismissed today for 189, and in reply to South Africa's 159 in the first innings. But then again, South Africa are 93 for 7, a lead of 63 runs. So I guess this match is going to get over by tomorrow. So, firstly, Ashar, what is your reaction so far to the test match which is being played in your hometown in Kolkata at the famous Eden Gardens?
I think it's a very strange wicket. As let me begin with starters. I've not seen an Eden Gardens wicket that is keeping that low, that has variable bounce and is turning square since day one. This
Hmm.
is a first I've seen on the Eden Gardens. Yes, initially, once you do start playing the Eden Gardens, it's a very batsman friendly wicket. If you can get yourself in, I think the first hour and a half is conducive to pace bowling. But I think once the batsmen settle in, it's much more of a batting paradise.
Hmm.
But I've seen the wicket, go slow. If you're playing day-night games or IPL games, the wicket does have a tendency to become slow towards the second half of it. But I've not seen a wicket that's turning square about,
Hmm.
this much, a meter and a half, all turning square and then sort of keeping really low. So that's something, fresh or rather, new to me seeing an Eden's wicket.
Hmm.
But yes, I'm very happy with the inclusion of Kuldeep. I think he's one asset in the Indian cricket team. And especially if you look at the Australia series, the second one day that we lost, we were dying for a bowler like Kuldeep or an extra bowler. If you see that match, because
Hmm.
Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel were causing a lot of problems for Australia.
Hmm.
I felt that a batsman who can bowl just sort of didn't work out. The combination for Nitish Reddy did not really work out, and that's where I felt we sort of gave away the game. I'm a big fan of Kuldeep,
Hmm.
and I think in Test cricket or the little cricket that I've seen in my life, I think leg spinners are your aggressive bowlers, they're your wicket takers on any given day. because they have the ability to, turn the ball, get the ball to turn on any kind of surface. So
Right,
I'm
right.
very happy with his
Yeah.
inclusion with the team.
Ashar, just give
And
me
also, yeah,
just give me a
yeah,
second. I'll just put the laptop charger on. Otherwise, it might get
yeah,
conked out.
yeah,
Just a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, sorry guys for that. It was important. Otherwise, we might have lost connectivity very soon. So yes, Ashar, please go ahead. Yeah, you were talking about the inclusion of Kuldeep Yadav, and yes, what
And
else?
then KL, also very happy to see KL Rahul back. I think
Hmm.
in our times, or in I think I compare him to a modern day Rahul Dravid, because if you see how he's gone across in the Indian team, he's opened, he's played at number three, he's played at number four. In ODIs, he's batting at five, six. You tell him to keep, he's keeping. He's one of and he's opening for India right now. So again, reminds me so much of Dravid. At a time where you didn't have, you needed a player. I think KL reminds me a lot about lot of Rahul Dravid in him. I mean, Dravid, of course, technically brilliant. I like watching KL play. I think he's the kind of person who sort of gives that stability to your middle order, any format of the game. He can play quick. He's a good. He can hold the innings together. So I
Yeah.
was very happy to see KL back again, and in that test playing thing. I
Hmm.
was really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, we can come to the individual plays in a while, but just coming back to this test match, you talked about the pitch being turning square on day two. That's surprising because the groundsman before the test match had said that it will offer good bounce and seam movement for the pace bowlers, but eventually, it will help spinners, which meant probably it was maybe on the third and the fourth days he
Dave?
said that the wicket would be good. So, and also Shubman Gill had said at the beginning of the India West Indies Test series that we would like to play on better batting tracks and not on rank turners. We would like to go ahead and if you remember the Delhi Test match that India played against
Yeah,
West Indies, that went into the fifth day because obviously the West Indian batters batted a little better, but they were helped by the pitch as well. But again, this is like a surprise, and I don't personally like such test matches where the top score across the first innings of both the teams was 39 by KL Rahul, and now South Africa is 93 for seven. We are looking at, I guess, at max maybe a tea time finish, if not earlier. What do you think about such test matches? Frequently, we are seeing in India, Ashar, ending in 2 days or 3 days. Very rarely a test match goes into a fourth day, let alone a fifth one. So, what is your take on such wickets?
I that just kills the fun of watching Test cricket. I mean, if a match is getting over in 3 days, of course we'd want a result. But if you remember, we've played on similar wickets. If you remember the Ahmedabad Test match that we had, the first Test, I think it was against New Zealand, the pink ball Test match. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
mistaken,
it
or
was against
it was
England. It was against England
it
in
was against England.
2021.
Did you see that wicket? I don't approve. I mean, if you're making batsmen play in challenging conditions, don't give them uneven bounce. That's why I like wickets in England where the
Mm,
ball seems a little bit. If you get your eye in, it's very conducive to batting. You can play your shots. There's
mm,
something in for the bowlers as well, but
mm.
not on wickets where I mean, this is not a skill test of skill when the ball is turning about a meter and a half. You're just trying to fend your way, and you're just trying to survive. And it
Yeah,
can happen with good batsmen who've got great techniques.
it
And
has happened with
if you
Virat
see the
Kohli.
ball, yeah.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you see the ball that got Tristan Stubbs, that
Mm-hmm.
ball that Jadeja ball,
Mm,
Tristan Stubbs, I think it was an unplayable ball. The bounce. I mean, it just drifted across. It started from leg stump and flicked the top of off. So I mean, all credit to Jadeja, of course, but I mean the wicket is turning square. I mean, it's turning
mm.
square, and it's already the second day. And what's
Mm,
amusing to me is the uneven bounce since day one.
mm,
If you see Jasprit Bumrah's 5 wicket haul, a
mm,
lot of his dismissals were balls that just kept
mm,
really low. Couple of his dismissals and couple of his bolts were balls that were keeping extremely low. So
mm.
I'm not a fan of Test cricket that's been played like that. I mean, have a battle. I think the England series that we played, like you mentioned, was one of the finest Test series again I have seen. It was a great competition between bat and ball, where there were teams that were scoring above 300. You know, you had bowlers that were saving coming in, good seam
Mm,
bowling, great batting. I think that's the kind of cricket we'd want to watch, for
mm.
5 days going in and ahead. And that's probably why I'm really excited for the Ashes as well. I think,
Yeah, yeah. We'll come to the Ashes in a while. But I
yeah,
think yes, but the players have to play on tracks that they're offered. So
true.
I think whatever performances they give, they should not be overshadowed. And looking at South Africa, I think fantastic bowling performance by them to keep to restrict the lead of India to 30. So
Absolutely.
when the first innings of India finished, South Africa were not too far behind. But Simon Harmer has been an excellent bowler, not just in the recent past against Pakistan when he performed as well. But this guy, Ashar, I don't know whether you've been following him, but this guy has been grinding it out in domestic cricket, in county cricket. He has, I think, more than 1,000 wickets now in domestic cricket, domestic first class cricket. So he's a top performer for South Africa, and along with Keshav Maharaj, really put the screws on the Indian batting.
Mhm. Absolutely. I saw him bowl against Pakistan, like you mentioned, the series he was there in Pakistan. I think it was phenomenal. You know,
Mm.
was so very accurate, like Keshav Maharaj and these guys are so accurate. They bowl well within the stumps. They don't give a lot to the batsman. And even today, when I was seeing the players, sort of struggle because, of course, the pitch is conducive, but to spin bowling. But all credit to the South Africans, spinners to just contain India and not let them sort of get away. Because I feel another 50, 60 runs, if India had a lead of about 100 runs, I think it would be very difficult for South Africa. Very difficult, especially on this track.
Yes, yes, that's true. So that's how things stand here in the first Test match at the Eden Gardens. Well, Asher, since you are from Kolkata, you are in the city right now. Give us a little bit of a vibe check about because today I saw today and yesterday the clouds were in huge numbers.
They did. Yeah.
And we don't, unfortunately we are not seeing that with now with BCCI expanding test centers to other smaller cities. While that is a good thing, no doubt, each and every city should have the exposure of watching their best players in the ground. But the thing is that we are not able to attract the same number of crowds for test cricket in these smaller centers as we do in cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, and even to some extent Delhi. Although I still feel Delhi was not up to the mark in terms of the crowds against the West Indies. It could be because of the West Indies as an opposition. But give us a little bit of a vibe check about Kolkata and how is it so far? How have they been reciprocating to this Test match?
Actually, it's any sort of sporting event that's coming into Calcutta. I think they're a sport loving city. It's just not cricket. The vibe check. You should see Calcutta during football World Cup. You should just see them on the streets. The
Mm,
walls are painted. They're huge. Argentina fans here. The walls
mm,
are painted white and blue. The
mm,
shops close. If it's a match at 7, the shops close. You should see the camaraderie of all people just coming in, sitting in front of the telly, small shops, and just watching football play football or cricket for that matter.
mm,
They're a sport loving nation. Even a game of carom, like I said, in Calcutta
mm.
is celebrated here. You start playing carom, there'll be about 30 people, start to watch
Yes, I
you
have
watch
witnessed
again.
it on Park Street when I was there
Yeah.
for a few days. Yeah.
You do that, and any sport, I think we were playing just before your podcast, we played a little bit of badminton, you know down the road, and there'll be about 5 7 people coming and watching in our lane. They just like to watch sports. So cricket, I think after a really long time, Test cricket has come back to Eden Gardens. So a big welcome Test cricket coming back to the city, and people actually have been waiting for it. You know, a lot of international games. As earlier, I mean, during my childhood days, there will be a lot of games, a lot of big important games used to be played at the Eden Gardens. Uh, you know, I think during my father's time, I think '87 World Cup, the finals was at Eden Gardens when
Mm.
India first hosted. I think the England and Australia match, the famous reverse sweep, Gooch
Mm.
Graham
Yes.
Gooch's sweep that went wrong, that was at the Eden Gardens that was
Yeah.
held. So for me, when I was growing up, we'd seen a lot of big matches. I think you had a Jubilee celebration of the Eden Gardens where Pakistan came over in
Yes, that one off
2014.
ODI,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
in which Salman
Salman
Butt
Butt.
made a
I had
century.
gone.
In fact, Virender
I'd gone
Sehwag
for it.
also probably made a century, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I'd gone for the game. I'd gone for the
Okay.
game. Yeah, I'd gone for the game. So I remember a lot of big games that used to happen in Calcutta. I think whenever a big team would be visiting, whether it
Yeah.
was Australia, whether it was Pakistan, where we had bilateral series amongst the nations, there used to be a match at Eden Gardens for a very long time, but for some reason, maybe the grounds were not up to the mark, or I mean, whatever the standards would have been with the ICC, I don't really know, or the
Mm.
BCCI that were conducting. Then you saw a gradual shift to Mumbai. A lot of
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
high-profile matches had shifted to Mumbai, and now we're
Yes.
seeing that shift to Ahmedabad as
Ahmedabad.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm not a big fan of the Ahmedabad wicket. Just saying, I think I, I'm not a very big fan of the Ahmedabad wicket in
Mm.
general.
Mm.
Not because of the World Cup memories, but
Mm.
I'm just saying for as a neutral playing or
Mm.
seeing that wicket, I think it has very less to offer. You know, it slows up. It's a
Yeah.
weird surface to bat on. It's a difficult surface to bat on.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
very
I
happy
mean,
people are coming back.
yeah, yeah. No, I think very well said, Ashar. You talk about some great games in Eden Gardens. Because I'm slightly senior to you in age, I can talk about some of the matches. Probably you were not even born. So there was one game. Of course, the
Are you talking about the
'96.
Hero Cup? Are you talking
No,
about
no,
the
I'm
Hero
I'm
Cup?
not I'm not going all the way back then. I was quite young
Uh,
at that time.
my
I'm talking
father
about.
my father had gone to Eden Gardens for the two games. You know,
Okay,
when
okay.
Kapil Dev took a cotton bolt for Richie Richardson coming over there. Kumble took six.
Kumble took
He was there
six.
at at
Wow.
that Hero Cup final. He was there. He was
Wow,
there.
wow. For a long time, that 6 for 12 was the best figures by an Indian bowler
Because
until some little known Roger Binney's
Vinny,
son, Stuart
yeah,
Binney,
Vinny did
picked up
that.
6 for 4.
So four, and
But coming
that
back
was some
to,
match.
yeah, yeah, that was a match. But coming back to the Eden Gardens, my first memory was the '96 World Cup semi-final. Vinod Kambli was crying as he went back as India lost to Sri Lanka. In fact, the match did not finish, and the Eden Gardens at that point of time, Ashar, in the '90s, was known to be very temperamental. The fans were very temperamental and very impatient if things did not go India's way, and they would throw bottles and they burned the aisles as well. So that was my first memory, and something similar happened in '99 when Pakistan visited. Shoaib Akhtar, if you remember, got Sachin
Two
Tendulkar
hat
and
tricks.
Rahul Dravid.
Yeah,
Those
Rahul.
brilliant
Yeah,
Yorkers, which
Yorkers.
still, even for Indian fans, those Yorkers still remain in memory as one of
But
the
I think
greatest
that Test
spells.
series was that Test series was probably the best Test series. I
Yeah,
mean, in terms of competition,
yeah,
in terms of playing, and I think still in my opinion, I feel that if because Pakistan won in Chennai, I think if Sachin's back would have been there and he would have stayed for another probably 10 or 12 overs, I think we would have won that game because Sachin played
yeah,
like a champion. One of the
yeah.
finest Test innings I've seen in very
I think
difficult
Ashad,
conditions.
that test match actually requires an episode on its own. So
Yeah.
we might do that. I mean, that was one of the greatest.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, coming to Eden Gardens, so Pakistan played 3 test matches, but the Eden Gardens test match was not in '99 was not part of the test series. It was a part of the Asian Test Championship. A lot of the
Championship.
Pakistani players actually they like to believe that it is part of the test series, so that they would say that they won the series 2-1, but that was not the
Yeah.
case. But yes, I mean, and the last day of the test match when India needed about 40 or 45 runs with about just 1 or 2 wickets in hand, were played in empty stands, because once again, what had happened on day four of that test match was when Sachin Tendulkar got run out in controversial fashion.
Yeah,
It looked like Shoaib
the-
Akhtar had probably, had come in his way.
obstructed. Yeah,
He
was
obstructed,
obstructed as well.
and the Indian crowd did not like it. And I think ultimately Tendulkar had, or Azharuddin or Tendulkar, one of them had to come and calm the crowds. But then, because of the behavior, everyone was evacuated. Only the media personnel and police security people were there on the fifth day. It was a very strange day five, and Pakistan won that game. And then, of course, so many other memories. I mean, Harbhajan Singh's hat trick in 2001. Can you believe it, Ashar? I might have told this to you in our earlier conversation that Australia has never played a test match at Kolkata after 2001. I mean, it was one of the greatest test matches of this century, or maybe of all time. And
Time.
Australia
The
has never
series
been
again, top notch. I think
the
the series
series.
also.
Hmm.
Also, if you see the last test match of the series where we won in anticlimactic fashion,
Yeah,
where we almost had a collapse
almost had
and
a
we
collapse. Hmm.
somehow managed to win. I think first test Australia outplayed us,
Yeah,
but the last two test matches, I think we showed a lot of character. I think a lot about. I think the 2004 series that we had in Pakistan, the quality of the one day games as well as the test series, I think it
yeah,
was phenomenal. I think
yeah,
it was really good test series where, you know, and the fact is every test match had a result.
yeah,
Three test matches had a
yeah.
result where the respective teams won.
Yeah.
So the quality of cricket was
But
top notch.
but the quality of cricket, something there is, it's there in Eden Gardens, Asha, that the quality of cricket just goes a notch up. Now we see a lot of that happening in stadiums like, for example, Bangalore, yeah, which produces high quality cricket. But Kolkata during the 90s and 2000s had an aura of itself. And in fact, this test match that currently is being played this is the first test match in Eden Gardens after 6 years. So can you imagine
Yeah.
such an iconic stadium getting to host one test match in 6 years? That's again thanks to the BCCI's rotation policy that they have. Yeah, I mean, I just feel, and in fact, Virat Kohli had said in one of in back in 2019 when India played South Africa in Pune, where the crowd wasn't that much. He said that the test cricket should be restricted to 4 to 5 main centers. So it's a bit. I mean, there are arguments both for and against such thing, but yeah, it's always good to see crowds coming in. So it's just a pity that the match will get over maybe by tomorrow, which is not a good sign for a city like Kolkata where people love to watch cricket. So yeah, I
Still,
mean,
I was very impressed. 30,000, 35,000 people were there today
yeah,
to watch the
yeah,
cricket throughout the whole day. So,
yeah.
but yeah, in general, like I was saying, they love their cricket, they love their sports in general. So whether
Mm.
it's the IPL, whether it's a one-day match, and if you see the semi-final that was held here as well in the 2023 World Cup, people still went to watch it, even though India wasn't playing somewhere else. But the South Africa game that we had, people
Yes,
went.
okay, yeah, South
Queue,
Africa Australia
yeah, yeah,
game. Yes,
yeah. They
yes.
queued up. They
Mm.
went to watch their cricket. They like
Yes.
their cricket. They
And,
they they love
and the
their
game
cricket.
was exciting. The game was
Exciting.
exciting.
Oh, very good game. Very good game.
Just that if South Africa had maybe 20, 30 runs more in their kitty, David Miller probably got out at the wrong time in that game.
If you
But
remember
yeah,
the
I mean,
2016 T20 World Cup, the
T20 World
finals
Cup
was at the
final.
Eden Gardens, where
Yeah,
the five
yeah.
sixes. Again, if you see that match, the stadium was packed. The
Yeah.
stadium was packed, even though India
Oh,
had lost
yes.
to the West Indies in
Yes.
Wankhede.
Yes.
But
But I still feel
you
the
see that
Indians were
match.
supporting the West Indies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were.
We are
But again,
we still have that anti-colonialism, yeah, against the English. Anyway, uh, so yeah, this match seems to be getting over tomorrow. Ashar, hopefully we'll have a 1-0 lead. So I think from the point of view of WTC, which we missed out last time, I think we are on track. Unless South Africa can turn the tables, which they are very capable of doing. We saw that in Pakistan; they won the second Test match, and they are a very good team. And South African cricket, Usher, as a whole, men's, women's cricket is on the rise. We saw them reach the final of the T20 World Cup, men's T20 World Cup, women's ODI World Cup final. They won the WTC. I think a lot of good things have happened since the SA20 has started in South Africa. So I think, yeah. What do you have to say about South
a lot of
African
time.
cricket in general?
I think they've always been. a fine cricketing nation. Since the time I've been seeing them, they've been a quality opposition in term with the bat, with the ball, and with the field. I think South Africans in general had set a nasty fielding example and had actually, the standards of fielding in our head was always Jonty Rhodes.
Hmm.
So if you see the all-rounders that they had, Lance Klusener, I think I've spoken about Klusener earlier in your podcast as well. Still can't get
Yes.
over a player like Lance Klusener.
Yeah.
My favorite cricketer, one of my favorite cricketers of all time, Jacques Kallis, produced such gems. Graham Smith, brilliant captain, Herschel Gibbs, Nancy Cronier, Sean Pollock, Alan Donald, the firepower that they had in their bowling. So
Hmm.
they were always a fine nation. But if you see from '99 as well, '99 they were on the cusp of it. Australia clawed that match. Why didn't Alan Donald run? It's always a question. They were
Yeah.
done in '92 by the Duckworth Lewis against
Hmm.
Pakistan. I think it was Pakistan or was it England? I think it was
England,
England.
England in the
England. Yeah,
semi-final.
they
Yeah.
required. Yeah, Duckworth Lewis
Hmm.
had sort of done them. If you see the 2003 World Cup again, still went very deep in the tournament. Well, one of the strong contenders because it
Hmm.
was played at their home ground in
Hmm.
2003. It was played in South Africa.
Hmm.
2007 again semi-finalist. But Australia were a super team that day. I mean,
Hmm.
they were just that era of Australian cricket was very
Yeah.
dominant and very phenomenal. 2000, if you see the World Cups, again, New Zealand had edged them off in a very, very, very good match in 2015. I think that was one
Yeah.
of the best World Cup semi matches I'd seen in my life.
Hmm.
Fantastic performances.
Then
See,
there was a bit of a lull then after
well, period.
2015.
Yeah,
The team from 2016 onwards, although they had AB de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, Hashim Amla in their batting, but they could never really they didn't come up to the semi-finals of a lot of the next few events till I
the
think the
Test cricket was still good.
2023.
I think the
Yeah.
Test cricket, South African Test cricket, because of Faf and AB there, uh, I think they did very well in the series against Australia in 2017. I think back at home as well, they're still a
Yes.
very formidable team playing at
Yeah.
home. It's very tough. I think we played a very good series with them in 2019, if I'm not wrong. Virat Kohli was captain.
Yes.
We played a very, very, very competitive series. Again, South Africa edged us. Did we draw that series? Did South Africa
No,
beat us
no.
in
South Africa edged us by 2-1.
2-1? Yeah.
We
Again,
won the Johannesburg Test match, the third
World
Test
Test
match.
match.
Yeah.
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 So if you see, we played a very competitive Test series with them. Still a very formidable team at home. But yeah, you're right. I think 2003, the men's T20I World Cup, 2023 World Cup, the women's World Cup, and now we're seeing them win the World Test Championship as well.
Yeah.
So and which I find really good. Teams like New Zealand and South Africa have surprisingly done very well in the subcontinent to spin conducive wickets. They've gotten
Yeah.
results for themselves. It's not been a whitewash. I think New Zealand gave us a whitewash at home, if you remember. Uh, they came and they gave us a whitewash at home. They were phenomenal against Pakistan
Mm.
before the Champions Trophy that was held. They were phenomenal there.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won the ODIs
Mm.
and everything. They won the Tri Nation Series as well. South
Tri-Nation
Africa was
series.
also there.
Yeah.
So New Zealand were very good. I
Mm.
think especially these two teams have been really, really, really nice. Very good in the subcontinent.
Mm. Yeah. True. True. Yeah. So I think South African cricket is on the rise, and we hope that in years to come, because we do need more than just the big three for Test cricket to survive. Uh, Now, moving on to the next topic, Ashar, we have here the Women's World Cup that recently concluded. Fantastic win for the Indian team. We won the World Cup for the very first time, the ODI Women's World Cup. What was your reaction on India's win?
So many things. I think I'd been following the World Cup from the beginning. I'm a sports fan, cricket fan, and I've been seeing uh, India's matches in general throughout the run. And I felt very sorry for Pratika Rawal with her
Hmm.
injury just before the semi-finals and finals. But God's plan, Shefali Verma gets into the team, becomes the player of the match in the final. Everybody, I think Smriti Mandana had a very good campaign, almost 500 runs uh,
Hmm.
as a batsman. Uh, again, Jemima Rodriguez, that innings in the semi final, I think that's one of the best gamesmanship I've seen. One of, you we talk about applying game sense into a situation, and I think that's probably one of the finest chases I've seen in a while. If you see that partnership that Harmanpreet Kaur and Jemima Rodriguez had, that laid the foundation, and there was no risk in their cricket. Of course, Richa Ghosh was sent to pinch hit, and she did, hit two or three out of the park. But if you see Jemima Rodriguez, every boundary that was hit was well along the ground. She was rotating the strike. She caught the odd boundary. There were singles, sevens and eights that were required, sevens and eights, and that's what India got. I mean, if you see the last about 12 overs, the gamesmanship was absolutely on point. One of the finest chases I've seen in a bit. I enjoyed the game against England as well. Some great batting was on display. Uh, Dipti Sharma again. I was so surprised. Sneh Rana. I think she was very, very, very underrated throughout the whole World Cup. The spell that Amarjot Kaur also had in the semi-finals against Australia, she put the brakes on. She definitely put the brakes on because we were looking at least 350, three
Yeah.
sixty the way Australia were going.
Yeah, yeah. I think fantastic performance. I enjoyed the chase, and you very well said about the gamesmanship, because at no point did India in the chase against Australia, Ashar, at no point did India sort of let the required run rate go too much out of control. I don't think it ever went up to 10 runs per over. But neither did India keep up with the run rate. So for a long time, the gap between the balls left and the runs required was about 35 to 40. But I think that's where the genius of Jemima Rodriguez and even the experience of Harmanpreet Kaur came through that partnership. They never allowed the run rate to go out of hand, and I think crucial knocks by each batter which came after
Hmm.
Harmanpreet Kaur. So if you look
Absolutely.
at forgetting the names now. One
Richa's
was
cameo was there.
yeah,
Richa's
Richa
cameo was
Ghosh's
there.
knock,
His cameo was there. 30 odd runs.
Deepti Sharma, and
Sharma.
even Amanjot Kaur. Although
Oh,
Amanjot Kaur, by the time she came, there was very little to be done. But even then, if we had lost her or lost Jemima, and we all know how the Indian women's team, Asher, sort
oh,
of
I've seen
has
that
this
collapse. I've
habit
seen
of
that collapse.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
against Australia, and that match I cannot forget because we were cruising. Until Harmanpreet Kaur was there, we were cruising in that match.
yeah,
We got 4 overs. We needed it was run a ball, if I'm not mistaken. It was
mm,
almost run a ball, maybe a little
yeah,
bit more than run a ball.
mm,
And from there, we just after that run out happened, her bat jammed on the ground.
yeah,
After that, we just felt like a pack
yeah,
of cards, and strangely, that's probably why Australia are known as champions. They have that
yeah,
champions DNA well within them, but they
yeah.
fought. You can never really count Australia out until the last ball is thrown.
And that's why
I think
those two catches that they dropped, Lisa Healy
dropped.
dropping
Yeah.
Jemima once, and then Jemima again being dropped by, I think it was Talia McGrath. Uh, so it was unimaginable that Australians would drop such a, that just showed how pressure can play havoc with even the mightiest of the teams, and it shows that they are also humans at the end of the day. It was, I think, Jemima's day, and the way she paced her innings. Did not go ever into seventh or eighth gear, but did not let herself get into a shell. It was just a perfectly a paced innings, And really, I mean, after a long time, I had seen both in men's and women's cricket such a perfect chase being done, and for the Indian team to do that on the back of such history that we have had of buckling under pressure. I think not just the win against Australia to which took us to the final, but also that I think mental blockage that we had. I think we broke that as well. And then again, South Africa, Shafali Verma playing that gem of a knock. I mean, this girl who I think 3 4 days back was not even part of the squad, and suddenly she was playing the final. and 87. I was very disappointed with the way she got out. I
Yeah,
wanted,
absolutely.
I have never seen an Indian make a century in a World Cup final.
The World
We
Cup
go back
final.
to Gautam Gambhir's knock, where he was bowled for
Almost,
97.
almost,
Yeah, in
almost,
2011,
almost.
and then of course, in the 2023 World Cup, I was expecting, although we were not playing well in the middle overs, but I was expecting KL Rahul to at least go through. I think he made probably 70 or something. So yeah, I mean Shafali Verma 87, and when India's innings finished, Ashar, I was wondering whether we were about 30 to 40 runs short, because at one point in time even we were looking at scoring about 350. So do you think
I
how was the Indian batting in the final according to you?
uh, I think when I saw the score, South Africa had to chase about 300. I think we initially, with the form, forgetting the name of the opener, who's the highest runs getter, 750 odd runs. I think,
The South African opener.
yeah. She's the
Hmm.
highest run getter in this World
I
Cup
mean,
edition.
the captain was Laura Woolford, and
Yeah, Laura Woolford. That's
yeah,
that's
Laura
the,
Woolford. Yeah,
the so Laura Woolford was in such fantastic form, 750 odd runs. When
yeah.
I saw the 300, total with the batting lineup they had, I think they were 30 runs, 35 runs short.
Hmm.
Especially, they how towards the end of the innings, or if you see the middle overs,
Hmm.
um, we crumpled a little bit, but reaching to a score of 300 was a very respectable score. I think it's a
Hmm.
good score,
Yeah.
especially in a World Cup final, because
Hmm.
once you go there and you have to chase, the so-called match winning or the so-called par score right now in one-day cricket,
Yeah.
about 300 odd runs. That too in a World Cup final, it's a lot of pressure. You have to score a run every ball,
Hmm.
which is not very easy in a
Hmm.
high-pressure game. But I think we bowled very, very, very well. And yeah, we did miss some chances, but we took a lot of good catches in the outfield. Um, and that catch again, Laura Woolford's catch
Yeah.
was the
Amanjot
turning
Kaur
point.
who
I
picked
think
that.
we got,
Yeah.
yeah, bit of a fumble. We all were keeping at the screen that is this a chance gone wrong? Very good composure under pressure. Take it second time. I think that was the turning point of the game. We got the game back, and once we got a chance and once we got a whiff of it, I think you know we were we played well in
Hmm.
the tournament, and we were deservedly champions, in my
Yeah.
opinion. We
Yeah.
played really well in the tournament, so we deservedly champions.
Yeah. And what do you think this will do to the women's game in general? Because a lot of the experts are saying that this will just open the floodgates now for the Indian women's team to win more
Absolutely.
events, and the game the
Participate in more events. Yeah.
participate in more events.
Broadcast
And
a lot of, yeah, broadcasting of events, and people will probably be taking a lot more keen interest. See, I've been following the women's cricket since the time of Mithali Raj,
Mhm.
the likes of Julan Goswami.
Mhm.
All of these people I've been following. Julan Goswami was again from Bengal in and itself. Uh,
And
if you
some
see her
wonderful
domestic,
stories came out.
yeah,
I was watching some of these old players' interviews, the way they struggled during that time. So some
yeah.
wonderful stories that came out.
So again, what people undermine is the platform. Of course, what the platform that Anjum Chopra had given, that
Hmm.
was taken a notch higher by Mithali Raj. She was there. She's held all the records that an Indian batter had or has up until now.
Yeah.
So for them, I think there was a very good side towards the end. They were all celebrating. There was Anjum Chopra, there was Julan Goswami, there was
Hmm.
Mithali Raj. So all of them, for all the World Cups, where India were close, where they had a chance,
Hmm.
semi-finalists. I think with Mithali Raj, we reached the semi-final where we
Hmm.
lost
Yeah.
the World Cup. So
No,
many
we
chances.
reached a final in 2005. That was when Mithali Raj was also there, and then in 2017 as well when we lost to England.
Big lost to England. So
Yeah,
if you see, there were so many chances where the game could have elevated,
yeah.
but it sort of didn't. And I think it's going to be a big platform. You know, people, once you start associating, players in general, you have a lot more viewership coming from them, a lot more recognition. Maybe even if they're playing a bilateral series, or if they're going to play in more ICC events and tournaments,
Mm.
you'll have a lot more eyeballs glued to the screen.
Yeah.
As in comparison to what it was before, which
Yeah.
I think is, even if you see women's cricket in general, this World Cup with so many views that we had and everything, we've got a whiff and we've got an idea. So probably the next time the WPL is happening,
Mhm.
people will probably take a lot more notice to a lot of players that are coming. Probably go in and fill in more stadiums. I hope that
Mhm.
it does happen for cricket in general.
So when you talk about WPL, Ashar, what role do you think has WPL played the same kind of role as the IPL has done for the men's game?
I don't really think so. I don't really think so. What I feel this World Cup win that India has had, it's going to be more of a catalyst other than the
Mm.
WPL. In at least in my opinion, you do watch a couple of games in and off. You probably know a couple of players that are playing.
Mhm.
You know of Smriti Mandana, of Harmanpreet Kaur. Of course, we know of Harmanpreet Kaur since a fantastic 170 odd
Mhm.
run knock, which I cannot forget. Brilliant batting. But for people like us, we are sports enthusiasts and we like to keep track of things in sports in general. But I'm talking about for a common man, or for 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 people to sort of recognize and give their due share of respect and flowers to the women's game. I think will has sort of happened after India winning a World Cup, because you've seen India play with a lot more teams
Yeah.
throughout the competition, and beating the best teams in the world, and winning the final. I think that's going to do a lot more for the women's game.
Mhm.
I'm talking about especially in India. I'm not talking
Mhm.
about the game abroad, but for India in general, I think it's going to have a lot more viewership for your women's Premier League. And I mean, we'll have a lot more eyeballs wherever the Indian wherever the Indian cricket team sort of goes.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So all the best to the Indian women's team for the future as well. I think BCCI should be doing even a lot more, but I guess they have done quite a lot, but even more would be always welcome. Now, Usher, moving to an exciting time in Test cricket that's coming up, the Ashes, the greatest and the oldest rivalry that exists in Test cricket is going to start soon. 21st November at the Perth's Optus Stadium is when the first Test match gets underway between Australia and England. So, are you looking forward to watching the Ashes, Usher?
Yes, absolutely. I think for me, as a cricket fan, any sports fan, that I get a chance, I'm really excited when events or when series or tournaments, whether I'm talking about a game of tennis or cricket, football, whenever you have competitions like these going on, definitely want to grab a seat and just sort of keep in touch with it, because I think the level of cricket is going to be really, really, really high.
Mhm.
I still give the edge to the Australians. I, I mean, early, I don't know how it's going to be, but I think, in my opinion, probably 3-1 or 2-1 to Australia. 3 or 2-1 to Australia. Um, I'm really happy to see Jofra Archer getting back into the team after a really long time. But I think that pace battery with Mark Wood still out of the England team. I think he was an integral part of Anderson, Broad, and Wood were an integral part of that brilliant, again, slobber knocker of a Test series that we had. Uh, the last Ashes in England, fantastic Test series that we had. Broad's retirement, Test match, of course, and how they clawed back. And we were talking, if the Manchester Test match wasn't a washout, I think England were winning were winning the Ashes for sure.
Mm.
They were winning the Ashes for sure. But again, Australia have been in phenomenal form for quite some time. I think the way they played India, especially, they're a very formidable side to play at home,
Mhm.
especially Test cricket. If you see the last couple of series that they've looked convincing, and I think Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, all of them will be back. So the pace battery is again.
Yeah,
is back.
yeah.
So
Although we have just got to know today itself that Josh Hazelwood has been ruled out of the first Test match, Asher. So Australia
no,
are now going to go into the first Test match without Pat Cummins and Hazelwood. So it's something that that will worry the Aussies and will give a huge fillip to the English team. But what do you have to say about the England team's lack of match practice? They have decided not to play any of the Australian state sides or invitational teams before the first Test match. They say that they don't require that kind of preparation, and they're currently playing at a place called Lilac Hill in Perth, where they are playing an intra squad match, or maybe I think a match against England Lions, which is basically the A team of the English team. So and former players like Ian Botham, Michael Vaughan, they have criticized this particular strategy of the English team of not playing enough warm up games. So, do you think that that will be detrimental to their team, or do you think that that's how it is these days?
it can be a flip of a coin, decisions like these of playing too many warm-up games. I remember, uh, I think it's one of the series that India were touring Australia probably long back, where
Hmm.
we were criticized for playing too many warm-up games, leading to the series against Australia that, the team looked fatigued and everything going into the first Test match. And now I'm
Hmm.
hearing playing less cricket is also detrimental because you're not playing enough warm-up games. So things like that, I think it lies with the English management and the board and the coaching staff for what they have decided, which is best for their players. Detrimental or not detrimental, I think a side that is coming in needs a way to get used to the conditions a little bit. Just get used to the pitch, start playing in some shots, because or just set your eye in with the bowling or with the
Hmm.
batting. That's the reason that sort of play warm-up games. Just be conducive to the conditions. But I don't know. Cricket's gone sort of going in very odd and different directions
Yeah.
nowadays. So playing, if they don't play less matches, if they don't play a lot of games and they still manage to win the series, they're going to call it a master stroke. And how they kept it under wraps and how they kept all the strategy under wraps.
Yeah.
And if they do lose, they'll be like, we didn't have enough practice going into Australia. So
Hmm.
it's a flip of a coin. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean to give credit to the English team, this particular English team under the baseball regime has actually won each of their first. I mean, first test of each of their last five away series. Going back to India in 2024 when they won in I think it was in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
When Pope. Ollie Pope, sorry, was it Ollie Pope or I don't know who it was, who scored 196. I think it was Ollie Pope, yeah. So they have been winning the first Test match of every away series. So I guess that sort of gives them this sort of leeway to say that we don't need any warm games before the Test series. But the English and the Aussies are very excited because of this English team's approach that they've taken, and I think in a long time they are coming in as genuine contenders to probably win. Although you have already given your scoreline that'll either be a 2-1 or a 3-1. I'm wondering whether there'll be any draws here unless rains are mixed, because I think the way
That's
the
what I'm
English team.
predicting for the Rains. Yeah, yeah, predicting for the
Because the
Rains
way the
itself.
English team plays, they don't play for draws. But do you think, Ashar, your prediction of the scoreline that you're giving is a bit too harsh for this particular English team, because they genuinely have some wonderful match winners like Harry Brook, Ben Duckett, Joe Root, of course, is there, Ben Stokes, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer in the pace. But this time they have, in fact, statistically, it's been proven that this particular English team has the fastest bowling attack
Is
in a
Mark Wood in the
long
squad?
time.
Is Mark Wood playing? He's.
He,
I think he's.
he's part of the squad, and I guess just today there were some concerns about him during the warm up game against England Lions, but the scans have been cleared. But we don't know whether he'll play the first Test match or not. But although nothing has been said, but considering that everyone is available, this is the fastest English team because they have Brighton Cars as well. They have Gus Atkinson also who can bowl in the high 140s. But at the same time, the pitches that are expected to be played on in this series, Ashar, are slightly more green pitches, and not the usual Australian hard pitches. So even Steve Smith has said that it might be a strategy that might backfire because on these kind of pitches, more swing bowlers with control would probably be better than out and out fast bowlers. So, I
Probably
mean,
the
these are all
deck.
mind games probably being played by both teams. What do you have to say about all these things?
But if you look at all the Australian bowlers, other than Mitchell Stark, if you see Pat Cummins, if you see Josh Hazelwood, they're all seam bowlers. They hit the deck. They try to get something off the deck and the surface. But if you're talking about natural swing bowlers, I think other than Mitchell Stark, you don't have a swing bowler in Australia.
Mm.
So
Mm.
very, just I'm trying to say that in response to Steve Smith's comment.
Mhm.
But secondly, why I still say this, and you've said that statistically it's the fastest team, and pace attack. Tell me how many away test matches series, other than playing well at home, how many away test matches has the baseball regime won, sort of going
Mhm.
there, and how many in big tournaments? If you see the World Cup, if you see the Champions Trophy, if you see them coming and playing in India, white ball cricket. I mean, how many series have the baseball regime sort of won away from home? Is sort of my question.
Mm.
Um,
Of course, I think the greatest triumph under baseball was in Pakistan in 2022 when they won the series 3-0. Um, and then they have won one series in New Zealand as well last year. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, if you talk about the big three, they have lost to India away, and they have drawn two all both against England and I mean both against Australia and India at home. So they haven't won any series against either India and Australia under the baseball regime so far. So that's been one major sort of criticism of this team.
and if you see, I have not really enjoyed England's white ball cricket all this while. To be really honest, I had a lot of expectations from them in the Champions League. Sorry, in the Champions Trophy. Champions League going to football. Really
Mm.
sorry. Champions Trophy. A lot of expectations with them, especially with white ball cricket, and especially the fact that they'd been in the subcontinent before. They were playing India, uh, and they went to Dubai, and they, they were below par. I mean, if you see uh, the Champions Trophy, again, Australia outclassed them. If you saw that run chase that Australia had,
Yes, yes.
chased about 340 odd runs.
340,
You know,
yeah.
yeah. So again, there. I mean, I'm yet to. It's a very fascinating and a very entertaining brand of cricket that they've played. But because of this intent, I think if you see in the white ball uh, format, they haven't really got a start for players like the middle order, like the Brooks and everything, to just come and explode. The platform that should be given by Phil Salt, the guys who are opening. I think they're not getting that conducive start in that white ball in the whiteboard format to give them a platform for their explosive middle order and the lower middle order to just come and break the shackles or take the bones out of the game. Where England should probably be scoring 300 and above in a lot of games, but because they don't have that kind of platform and start from the top order, I think the scores are going down to about 250 and 260. They're
Yeah.
crumbling. Starts aren't that great. And again, with that kind of pace that they, sort of carried, like Brendan Carr and people on subcontinent wickets, they're not very conducive to pace bowling in general.
Mm.
We saw how the Australians in that chase just picked them apart.
Mm.
So again, with the baseball regime, they still have to prove a lot. Exciting form of cricket, very aggressive form of cricket, very entertaining form of the game. But they have to prove, they have to justify the hype that they have sort of created, in my opinion. But I still consider the Australians as favorites because even when India was touring in the Border Gavaskar Trophy,
Mm.
we thought we were in a very strong position, and we've beaten Australia, and how we've performed. You saw the end result of how it was, uh, because and it's not very easy. You see the ODI series as well. We thought that we had a chance with white ball cricket. Of course, we won the T20
Mm.
series, but if you see the actual 50 over cricket format that we had, Australia didn't give us an inch. Australia absolutely did not give us an inch in I mean, the last match, of course, was a dead rubber. It's very happy to see Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli score a lot of runs. But if you see the first two one days, I think it was a saving grace. Second ODI was a saving grace from Rohit Sharma, and then
Yeah.
uh, Shreyas Iyer. Shreyas Iyer played a
Mm.
very, very, very underrated innings yet again in the middle order.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, we've
Yeah.
been tested in Australia. So winning in Australia is a big, big,
Mm.
big challenge. It goes
Yeah.
without saying.
Yeah, and looking at England's atrocious record in Australia in the last 10 to 15 years, especially since 2010-11 when they won, they haven't won a test match there. They have lost, I think, 14 out of the 15 test matches. So, yeah, I mean, things are sort of, or maybe 13 out of the 15 tests. So things are just stacked against them. But genuinely, I feel excited because of the way English team is playing, and they are the baseball sort of has got into the skin of the Aussies. The media is also excited. The Australian media, the Australian former players. So I think in a long, long time, England, while not start as favorites, but they definitely will feel that they have a strong
Definite
chance.
contenders. Definite
And
contenders. I'm not saying England are not contenders coming
Mhm.
in over here, but I think Australia will win if you're playing five tests. I
Mm,
think Australia will edge England over. It's going to be a
yeah,
very good contest. We're going to have results in most of the games, which we really want. But I think I still feel Australia are genuine favorites. Being at home, and if you see their home record,
yeah,
if you pick their last five Test series at home, they've been phenomenal. I mean, I think other than the series when we had under Virat Kohli, the famous Gabba Test and everything, barring
yeah.
that series, I think if you look at their track record in the last 4 years post that
Mhm.
series, I think they've lost very few test series at home. If I'm not mistaken, in fact, not a lot they've lost at home.
Mhm.
So they've been dominant the last 4 5 years at home.
Yeah. So I think yeah, I'm also personally looking forward to Harry Brook. Remember, he did not play in the series against India in India due to personal reasons, which I was really looking forward to because Harry Brook, I think, in a long, long time, is one of the exciting players to come from England. So let's see how the Ashes pans out, and
Oh, what's your prediction, sir? How do you call the series
I think
going
even
in
I will
the
go with
Ashes?
Australia, but
You
this
are
time
also
I
going
think
with Australia.
yeah, but this
Yeah.
time I think it will be 4-1 instead of 4-0 or 5-0, which usually has happened. I
I
think
am giving
England.
I'm giving England a test, and you're saying that I'm being harsh on them.
Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, yes, Australia do start as favorites, no doubt about it. Yeah, so I think probably England will nick off one Test match somewhere when probably the series is dead. But don't be surprised if England do win the first Test match because they have been winning the first Test match of away series for quite some time now. Anyway, so Ashar, coming now towards the end of this fascinating chat with you, I wanted to talk to you about Gautam Gambhir, an interesting character as the head coach of the Indian team. Why I wanted to ask you about him is that because he's been criticized a lot for his team selections, and now I'm talking across formats, not just any one format. And his insistence on backing certain players in spite of them not performing. So, a case in point being Harshit Rana. He has been trying to give a longer run to Nitish Kumar Reddy as well. His personal preference for Washington Sundar, which many feel probably led to Ravichandran Ashwin's retirement, because if you remember in the New Zealand series last year, he was called midway into the series, even with Ashwin being there. So and then constant chopping and changing, at one point of time, you tell us that Sai Sudarshan, we are grooming him for number 3, and suddenly he's not there in the first Test match. You have Washington Sundar of all people coming at number 3. We don't know whether is that a stopgap arrangement, or are they trying to groom him for number 3, and then not playing Kuldeep Yadav for continuously for the Test matches in England.
Not
Ultimately, I
playing
mean, he was
Shreyas
still.
Iyer for test matches. I think not playing Shreyas Iyer, player like Iyer, in the middle order who has experience in tests. You do play him in one day cricket, but him not playing in that test lineup is criminal in my opinion. I think two players right now in the Indian middle order, which which cannot be dropped for their experience that they have, and especially that they won. One is KL Rahul, and the other one is Shreyas Iyer. I don't see how you can't make you can't make a place in a playing 11 for these two people, for these two players.
Um, uh, you
I
know, Ashar, I get your point, but I would like to beg to differ from you because I feel, firstly, Shreyas Iyer himself has said on a couple of occasions he has backed out of domestic cricket, stating that his back is not conducive enough to be in the field for hours. And secondly, I feel he still has a lot of work to do in terms of the short ball. We saw in the one day series against Australia, in one of the one days he was again dismissed of a short ball. I think he has way too many weaknesses to be and technical glitches. I feel to be able to be successful in Test cricket. That's just my feeling about it.
I opinion I agree with your opinion on his short ball shortcomings. But if you see the tournaments that we've played, the big tournaments that we've played, and and sort of starting from 2023, of course we didn't win it. You see the Champions Trophy as well.
No, of
They've
course.
been,
See the white ball tournaments. I'm not against. I mean, definitely he's part of the ODI team. I'm just talking about
but
Test cricket
again,
because
I feel that kind of experience, that you need someone who's experienced of playing international cricket. I'm just saying, especially when you're going abroad, and playing, big guns. I mean, of course, he reminds me a little bit of that Rahane sort of a player in that, number four or number five spot. If you see that match, that century that Rahane played in South Africa, or the gritty innings that he played in Australia, he sort of reminds me of that Rahane sort of a player in that, middle order. He's
but I
gritty and
feel
he's,
I feel Ashar that comparing Rahane with Shreyas is a bit unfair because
of course,
Rahane
dude. No, I
had
feel he's a guy.
technically he was much more sound and compact than Shreyas.
I'm saying very similar kind of. I'm not saying in terms of technical ability. I'm just saying that kind of batsman that you need, a sort of player
Mhm.
like Rahane in that test playing middle order who can do a little bit of counter punching. Like that kind of a player is what I'm trying to say. I'm not comparing the technical excellence of
Mhm.
Ajinkya Rahane is phenomenal with the cuts, his cuts and pulls, no doubt about it. But I'm saying a player like that who can, sort of counter punch and has got a lot of experience, playing international cricket over the last 6 7 years. That's what I feel in terms of a player. We can have different opinions on how we see cricket, or you may like a player, or I may like a certain player, but this is what my thinking is.
Yeah.
And second option, I feel, again, like I said, you've got to, again, Kuldeep Yadav. He's one Bishan Singh Bedi, in one interview said that he's a treasure. A left arm leg spinner. He's your treasure. He's going to win you big tournaments and matches.
Yeah,
You
yeah, you're absolutely right. So coming back to the question, Ashar, about Gautam Gambhir. So, what do you think is Gautam Gambhir's mentality, his strategy, his thinking? Why do you think he's? Because ever since he has come in, apart from all these things that you have mentioned, Ashar, his preference to go for a deep batting lineup in all formats. I understand, for T20s, but for ODIs and Test cricket, you still, no matter how much the game has changed, you still need specialists. And I feel under Gautam Gambhir, we are playing way too many all rounders who are not able to do either this or that. Yes, he has a Champions Trophy to his credit. He has won that. Um, he has won the Asia Cup as well now, no doubt about it. So results wise, in especially in white ball cricket, Gautam Gambhir has delivered. But then again, not playing specialists and playing too many, all rounders. So, what do you think is Gautam Gambhir's reasoning for all this?
think, he's thinking just in terms of white ball cricket. That's what I feel in my opinion. With the success that he had with, Kolkata Knight Riders, uh, winning the IPL and everything, Gambhir being the head coach. His team selection to me, is a little bizarre at times. Like I mean, if you see the inclusion of Nitish Kumar Reddy, like you were likely saying, if you see the Indian cricket team, they're batsmen who can bowl. They're not genuine all rounders. They're not like a Hardik Pandya who can give you 10 overs, or like a Jadeja who can give you 10 overs. But they're batsmen who can roll their arm over and probably, sort of pitch in overs. That's not what you're looking for. That's not a genuine all rounder. He's a batsman who can bowl. Uh, so this is something I find very strange about Gambhir's persistence with certain players in general. I mean, fine, you want to give Harshit Rana a run out, you want to give a youngster a run out, fine, go ahead. But you're seeing the results in itself. A bowler who needs a lot more grooming on his work, and bowling 4 overs and bowling 10 overs in a one-day game, bowling 20, 30 odd overs in Test cricket. It's 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 a different skill set requirement. It's an absolutely different skill set requirement. And if you see, that's why I was, whenever I see Jasprit Bumrah bowl nowadays, I so happy seeing him bowl, seeing the skill set that that bowler has. Whether it's bowling 4 overs, whether it's bowling 10 overs in a one-day game, or if it's bowling 15, 20 overs in a test match. You know, like Muhammad Shiraz has. That skill set you require as a bowler, which I feel Harshit Rana, you can say he's inexperienced, um, or he needs more time to work on his skills or honing skills. But I don't think Harshit Rana is a swing bowler. I think Harshit Rana is a bowler who's a seam bowler. He'll get something from the surface, maybe a bounce, a deck hitting bowler. But even in the
Yeah,
IPL,
he's a hit the deck bowler. Yeah, but he
yeah,
still has a lot of improvement to be
grooming,
done. Yeah,
grooming.
yeah.
But I feel Gambhir in his ways. You see, our white ball cricket is probably phenomenal right now because the guys we have ready, the young guys that are coming in ready, we have a lot of firepower coming in.
Mm.
And especially the tournaments that we've been taking part in, like the Asia Cup and Champions Trophy, it's helped us because they've been held in the subcontinent in Dubai, where it's conducive to our spin bowlers,
Yeah.
and playing those kinds of all rounders, slow pace bowlers who don't give you much from the surface and everything.
Mm,
But
mm,
if you are holding a World Cup like this in South Africa, where
mm.
the pitch will means, if you have a slow pace bowler coming in that's inviting more runs and pitch like Johannesburg or Cape Town, Durban, where there's a little zip for the seam bowlers, but it's very good for batting.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, he shouldn't really, cut, chop, and change his teams too much. Like
Mm.
every captain, fine, you want to rest certain players out of a tour, you want to rest your important players out on tour. I understand that. But the constant changing for one series, and then you want to
Mm.
chip and change for another series, you want to head out to, test a T20I team is sort of different. The ODI team becomes extremely, sort of opposite. I think there should be certain core players that are maintaining. I'm not saying that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, they've retired from one days. They don't play T20Is, but I'm saying the core of your team. Those five, six guys that are there in your Test playing nation should be there in your one day team and your T20I team. I think that's how you're grooming, those five or six guys to be, maybe future captains, become senior players. Give them that kind of grooming in general. Or maybe I'm an old school, sort of a watcher of the game, and that's what my opinion is. You may rotate them out, give
Yeah.
youngsters a chance, but I think Gambhir has chopped and changed his team quite a lot,
Mm.
and his persistence with some players is sort of very annoying at times. When you watch them play on the field, you question decisions. Like I said, the second one day in Australia, we could have won that. We could have definitely won that game and probably the series if we had that specialist bowler. We were
Yeah.
crying for Kuldeep in the middle overs. I think if we played him, it would been a very different story because Zampa got the ball to turn a lot. Akshar and Washington were doing a lot with their ball. They picked up key wickets. And I think if we had Kuldeep, it would have been a masterstroke. We would probably
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
won that game. Definitely won that game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we can talk about it for hours, but It's time to now close this conversation, Ashar. It's been a fantastic time with you. Thank you so much. We have been well over an hour, I think, on this.
Yeah.
But we've had some
Time's really
wonderful,
gone by, sir. Thank you.
yeah,
Time's really gone by, and I more than anything, I feel I'm talking to you about cricket in itself. It's a very comfortable space that we're in.
absolutely,
We're
absolutely.
two really avid sort of cricket lovers who just love the game in any which way. So many good games and so many memories to sort of talk about.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you, sir, for taking out the time yourself, and hopefully we can do a lot more for the cricket channel and the podcast in the time to
Absolutely,
come, sir.
absolutely. I think when we meet, we should do something in person as well. So that'll be good.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
We
So
should we
I
should
think,
definitely.
yeah, when you come, we'll definitely catch up, Ashar, and yeah, I'm hoping for an exciting Test series, the Ashes that's coming up, and let's see what happens tomorrow in the India South Africa Test. But by the way, have you been to the stadium to
No, no,
watch
I
any of the
haven't
day?
really got. No, I haven't
Mm,
really got. Saturday and Friday, the test began. I was a
yeah.
little busy uh,
Mm,
with my father and everything. We're getting his health checked up and certain
oh,
tests
okay.
done. So I haven't really
Okay.
gotten the time to sort of go to the stadium and
Right.
watch a game. But I thought probably we would get 5 days.
Yeah.
Had a chance to enjoy
Now I
cricket.
don't think we're gonna get.
But no, I think we're
Yeah.
probably gonna get a result tomorrow for sure.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ashar, and I hope you guys, those who have been watching, have enjoyed this conversation with Ashhar Qureshi, an avid cricket watcher and a dear friend of mine. I hope to see you guys for the next episode. Until then, take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.